Hello, welcome to I Feel Fat Today. I'm your host, Kelly Taylor. Thank you so much for joining. We don't have video for the intro of the podcast, but we do have video for our guest. So let's see. All right, we're going to get into another listener email this week. Subject line, my family calls me fat to my face. Hi, Kelly. I've been listening to I Feel Fat Today, and I really appreciate the insightful discussions and advice you provide on body positivity and self-love. Thank you. Is that what I do? Okay. Recently, I have found myself facing a challenging situation over the past year. I've gained some weight, and as I prepare to go home to visit with my family, I am anticipating potential comments or criticisms about my body. Unfortunately, in the past, my family members have not been shy about expressing their opinions on my physical appearance. I was wondering if you could offer some advice on how to handle mean or rude comments about my body from family members. It's important to me to maintain a healthy mindset and not let others' opinions negatively impact my self-esteem, but it's hard. I am very mean to myself, so when anyone, especially someone like my own mother, makes a mean comment about my body, I believe it to be true, and I hate myself for it. I understand that everyone's journey with body acceptance is unique, but any guidance or words of wisdom you could provide would be greatly appreciated. How can I navigate these conversations with my family? I look forward to hearing your thoughts on an upcoming episode. Thanks, Sarah. Well, Sarah, thank you so much for reaching out, and I appreciate the nice things you've had to say. And I'm definitely not the authority on this matter, but I definitely have experience with, members of my family being mean to me, or, being mean, giving their thoughts on the way that you look. And I think that's just a generational thing. I think that has something like that. My grandparents are major offenders of this, and it sucks. It definitely sucks because, it's you're not going to not go home to see your family. And I feel like it's very in vogue right now for people to say, oh, your family makes you feel like shit. Cut them off. Go no contact, Don't deal with them. Don't see them. Don't put yourself in harm's way. And to a degree, I do agree to a certain degree to that sentiment of no contact. But I do think that is like in instances of like abuse, emotional or otherwise, in which you can't grow as a human because, you're being shackled down by someone like a mother. And it's fine to go no contact with an individual, with someone like a parent, if that's the case. But I don't think an instance like this alone, like them, calling you fat to your face, as the subject line, expresses, to be a reason to go no contact. But I do think that you can limit the amount of time you spend with them. And, everyone's parents are different. Like for me, it's not my parents that say something to me. It would be, my grandparents that would, probably say something negative about the way that I look, or say something at all, negative or otherwise. And I choose to just kind of not answer. Like, I think that when someone says something like, oh, have you been hitting the gym? When, it's maybe not obvious that you have or haven't been. Just letting it sit there, just not giving an answer. Like if someone in your family, like your mom or your dad, asks if you've been going to the gym, just look at them. Don't say anything. And I'm half kidding, but also fully serious. Like you don't need to dignify what the nastiness and rumors of what they say about you or to you. You don't need to dignify any of it with a response. And I think it's kind of one of those things where you'll get more comfortable being able to have maybe more of like a sarcastic retort to them asking a question that is weight-based, or, something that I find myself doing is, if I go to put something on my plate that maybe someone in my family thinks is unhealthy and I shouldn't be eating it, and they say something to me about it. I mean, you can go the route of just ignoring them and not say anything and just proceed and maybe look them dead in the eye when you do it. Or, you can just say point blank, like, I know what I'm doing and I'm fine with what I'm doing. So mind your business. And the problem with parental figures is that if you say anything that is contrary to what they believe, it's looked at as being confrontational or talking back. And you're an adult person, and like you said, you are mean to yourself already. So when you have this, these outside sources that are reiterating how you feel about yourself, where it sort of feels like they are reinforcing beliefs that you have about yourself, you are within your rights to tell people to fuck off kindly. Like, truly, I don't care if that's it. Yes, is it rude to tell someone to fuck off, especially a family member, an elder, to tell them to fuck off? That's very rude. But it's also very rude for them to say anything to you about the way that you look. I don't know if you come from like an especially athletic family, like if, you are the only one that is overweight or deemed overweight, or if, is it like the pot calling the kettle black situation here? At the end of the day, when people don't want to focus on dealing with their own problems, they're going to look to outside sources. And unfortunately, you seem to be the easiest target for them to look at. So instead of, mom dealing with her crippling credit card debt, she's going to look to you to say, hey, honey, watch the amount of bread that you're eating, so that you can maintain your girlish figure, or whatever weird shit they'll say to you. But it sucks. And I hope this helps. But, I would say try to not put yourself into these situations, and, just know that they're not trying to hurt you. They're just obsessed with weight, and they're putting that shit on you. And also investigate why you have these feelings about yourself. Like, investigate how you feel when you look in the mirror and you see your body and you're unhappy with it. Like, investigate like what that is. Like, how far down and deep does it go? How far back does, your family policing what you're eating and putting into your body goes? Because there's probably something there. I'm not trying to, tell you that you were molested or something. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm just the body keeps score, and maybe your body is hanging on to some shit that it really needs to let go. So that's what I gotta say about that. I hope that helps. I appreciate you reaching out, and just know I feel you and I get it. Okay, subscribe to our YouTube channel. I Feel Fat Today, where we have full video episodes. Like and comment and subscribe. You head over to Apple Podcasts, where you can give us a 5-star rating and review. If you leave a review, you will be featured on the I Feel Fat Today Instagram. I do blur the usernames as to not put you on blast. And you, listener, if you like the advice that I gave our dear listener Sarah, send us an email at ifeelfattoday@gmail.com, and I'll read it on the podcast. And you can remain anonymous. Just let me know at the top, hey, I want to be anonymous. If you're looking for advice, whatever. And follow the podcast on social media at I Feel Fat Today, and me, your host, Kelly, at Hello, This is Kelly. All right, folks, we're going to get into it with our guest. I had a really great conversation with a friend, a fellow New Jerseyan, about weight loss and dieting and life changes, and it's really great. And I think you're going to enjoy it. Please give a warm welcome to the very funny Mark Henely.
Like Crystal Light, or is it?
It's electrolytes.
Okay.
Yeah. What's up? We're back. Hey, thanks so much for coming over.
Thanks for having me.
How's your new year?
It's pretty good. New Year's not for me though.
Okay, I like that. Because like I don't really. I
Yeah.
try to like look at it maturely and like, oh, it's a nice like restart period, but
Yeah.
it's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, it. Well, I mean, New Year's Eve in general is not for me. Like the night I used to drink, and when I drank, I liked
Okay.
it. And then I don't drink now, so I'm like, well, that's for other people now.
Right, totally.
Yeah.
So I was gonna ask you because I forgot that you don't drink
Yeah.
anymore, and so I wasn't sure if it was like a you don't drink anymore if you've never drank.
Oh no, I used to drink a lot, and it was very fun. But I at a certain point, before I lost weight, when I was like real heavy, it took too long to get drunk, so I was just like, well, I either eat food or I drink, and I'm like, I'm not.
You want to pick one?
I'm picking food.
Yeah, totally. Okay, so it just got too expensive to be an alcoholic.
Yeah. It was just taking a little bit too long.
Nice.
And then I would get drunk, and I wouldn't be drunk that long, and I was just like, this isn't.
That's when you know you're fat.
Yeah.
When like you decide to cut out drinking because it economically doesn't make any sense.
And then I started making friends with people that were sober, and our big activity would be that we would go to half-price appetizers at Applebee's.
Hell yeah.
And I was just like, well, this is more fun than drinking.
Yeah,
You know, like that's
totally.
It's me and the boys. It's
You're
great.
destroying your body either way, so might as well.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, I like that. So when did you stop drinking?
I stopped drinking maybe like 28. I don't know. Probably when I was like 27 or something. It wasn't that big of a deal to me.
Okay.
So it was just like a thing I kind of fell out of. Like even now, like I'll have like a sip or a drink
Yeah,
every
yeah.
once in a while. Like I had like 2 drinks last year.
Okay.
But it's not. I generally just tell people not drinking because I don't want like the pressure of people being like, have a sip of this. I'm like, I don't really.
Yeah, no, totally. So you're not really like counting days
Yeah,
necessarily.
Yeah. Or if I'm on a date with a girl and she's like, let's drink, I'm kind of like, I don't really
Yeah.
do that. So I'll be like, I don't drink ever, so I don't have to be.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I know some people like that who are like, I just don't drink, so it takes away the pressure of them.
Yeah.
You know, if someone asks me. 'Cause that's the thing. Like when you're with people and like especially if they're used to you drinking.
Yeah.
And you say, no, I'm not having one. If you're a girl, they're immediately asking you if you're pregnant. Because, like, why else aren't you drinking? Or it's like, and in tandem with, but you're so fun. It's so fun to drink together. And now I feel bad that I'm drinking and you're not drinking kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Same with, like, if you, for the food-wise, like, if you bring out, like, a dessert and then people are like, no, thank you.
I know.
You're like, well, what do you... It's like, fuck you.
No, literally.
You're not going to have a cookie.
Yeah. No, my friend had her engagement party this past weekend, and I bought a cake, and it was like this gorgeous, delicious chocolate cake, and like people were eating the shittier cake option, and I was like so angry. I was like, why are you not eating the delicious cake that I bought? It looks amazing. And then people were like, oh, you're right. I'll have some. So I was able to pressure them.
What kind of cake was it?
It was a heart-shaped white buttercream frosted chocolate cake with cannoli filling and chocolate ganache filling.
I like that. Sounds pretty good. I'm not a big cannoli guy, though.
Really?
Yeah, the cannoli filling. I used to work at a made-to-order donut shop.
Okay.
And the cannoli, so we had like a lot of cannoli filling around, but that wasn't my favorite one.
Okay, what was your drug of choice?
We used to put like bacon and like maple on them.
Oh shit, that sounds fucking bomb. Oh, hello. Whoa. Hello, kitty cat. I was not expecting you. Damn, maple bacon. That sounds so good.
It was pretty great. And but that was the time I was like, I wasn't the heaviest I was, but I was like getting there.
Yeah.
So I was like, I have to be very careful.
Yeah,
here.
totally.
Because
totally.
you had infinite donuts at your disposal.
Yeah.
So you're like, I can't eat too much like
Yeah.
this.
Oh, well, that's the thing. When you have so much at your disposal, it does kind of become like, I'm over this. Like, it is right in front of my face. So.
Yeah. And there were certain things like we used to make cronuts. And everyone else would just use it as the bread for sandwiches.
Oh my god!
And so they'd be like, yeah, it's the bread. It's fine. And I'm like, I can't get into that.
No. That's like a lot of added sugar.
So much like they would regularly make like bacon, egg, and cheese cronut sandwiches.
Oh god, it's probably so fucking good. Oh my god. Damn, dude. That sounds like what a bodybuilder would have on a cheat day.
Oh yeah.
You know how
the
like
Rock would post it.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's Sunday cheat day, you know, because I feel like bodybuilder people go like really in on a cheat day.
Oh yeah. They go full in on like this is what I would eat, whereas
Yeah.
I think when I was like at my heaviest, I don't know that I was doing like wild stuff like that. I feel like I was just consistently eating bad.
Yeah, no, it's you're like, it was a lifestyle.
Yeah.
Okay, so when did you lose weight?
At the beginning of the pandemic,
Okay.
I lost. I have a work from home job.
Yeah.
And the job has started to slow down. Our company wasn't doing that well, and then we all got kind of like released like the week before the pandemic started, and they were like, the business isn't going, so I'm sorry we can't hold everyone there anymore. And then because it was work from home, I'd actually started doing yoga already.
Okay.
So I was like, yeah, I got all this free time at my job until things warm up. Maybe I'll start doing yoga. And then everyone got like let go. So I was like, I guess all I do is yoga now.
Yeah, I'm a full-time yoga
And then
person.
everyone was like, we're going to all shelter in place. And then I kind of was like, you know what? I'm not working right now. I'm going to stay inside for 2 weeks. And
I like that.
I was like doing like the good citizen thing of like, I'm going to do this. I'm just going to focus on yoga and I'm going to eat healthy. And then everything fully shut down for like, months. And I was like, I guess all I do is yoga.
Yeah.
And then I was like, well, I can't go to like the, the drive-ins or anything because they'll sneeze on it and I'll get COVID and die.
Yeah, right, totally.
Remember the beginning, they're like, you need to wash your groceries?
Oh, yeah, it was
And
crazy in
like,
the beginning. March 2020 was a wild time. March, April, June, that was a crazy.
If someone didn't wash their groceries, you could scream at them.
Yeah, no, literally. Yeah. And I was like personally pretty lax about it, but I had a roommate who, she's great, but she was definitely a little bit, which is probably good at the time because I was kind of like, whatever. She was very much like wiping down the groceries. So we did it, which is so crazy to think about in hindsight, but we just didn't know what COVID was. And also, so COVID quarantine, I feel like we saw so many people get fatter.
Oh, yeah.
And you did the opposite.
Yeah, I did I just, because like all of my bad habits kind of like I like reprogrammed all of them as I was there,
And it's almost like you kind of started a little bit earlier.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I started like a week early, and then I was kind of getting ready for it to be like, okay, now I'll just diet this whole time. And it was interesting. It was fun though because I wasn't taking any pictures of myself and no one was seeing me.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm gonna come back and everyone's gonna be like, what the fuck happened to you?
No, I did. I definitely recall like being at the stand after not seeing everyone for a long time and being like, oh shit, Mark got really skinny.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But like it was weird because when I first started coming back to things and at comedy things, I feel like people didn't notice that much because then people were kind of like, I guess did he always look like this?
Yeah, right. Like had like amnesia.
Yeah. Or like people don't like think about how fat you are all the time the way you
totally.
think that they do.
You just present as exactly.
In your head, you're like, well, everyone knows exactly how fat I am, so I lose 10 pounds, everyone will notice. But really, everyone's like, I guess he always looked like that, didn't he?
Yeah, but you didn't lose 10 pounds.
Oh yeah, no, I lost like I think like when I started going back to things, it was like 60 pounds, I think.
Wow.
And it was 80 at the lowest.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Because there's always the lowest because you kind of are like, how low can I go? And then you realize that's not sustainable.
No. It was just, I don't know quite why it wasn't. I think I got sick a bunch of times in a row, like the next year, of just random like colds and stuff.
Oh, okay.
And I feel like now I'm like probably up around like 230. Because my heaviest, I was 276. Now I'm back around 230.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like a different 230.
It's a completely different. A pound of fat and a pound of muscle are completely different.
Yeah, and I'm also like, not that I'm like, 40 pounds.
Don't sell yourself short.
But I do feel like I'm like more mobile and like physical than I was before because when I was at my heaviest, I wasn't working out ever.
Yeah.
If there was an escalator, I was taking the
escalator. Yeah, totally.
And shameless about it too. So now it's like and now I have a degree of an understanding of how like nutrition should work. But I actually, ironically enough, did end up going to half-price apps at Applebee's last night for the first time in years.
Oh, wow.
With a bunch of friends, and I did wake up almost with like a food hangover.
Yeah, totally.
I woke up fully like kind of sick, being like, oh my God.
Wow, because did you go fucking ham?
I didn't I wasn't going as crazy as other people could.
Yeah,
but I did have like a whole order of boneless wings.
Yeah.
And then there's a bunch of things at the table, so I had like a little bit of other
stuff.
Yeah,
a little.
So it wasn't, I don't think I was like, I could have been like, I'm going to, this really put up numbers, but it wasn't.
Totally. I'm picturing like someone going to half-priced apps when it used to be like one of their things that they did, and you're going back almost like a homecoming. It's like they have your jersey up in the rafters at the Applebee's.
Well, I was kind of like, had that in my head for a lot of things. Like I used to love when I was real heavy going to Taco Bell with my friends and then just endlessly refilling the cup with Baja Blast.
Just straight up IV of sugar into your bloodstream.
Yeah, you're there for like an hour with your friends. You kind of
Totally.
like just casually drink like 5 cups of it.
Well, that's what people were doing, hanging out at Panera Breads, and that's how people died, drinking the charged lemonade, because they just kept refilling, which is what I would do, not knowing that there was a ton
That's such a funny thing to happen at Panera, too.
I know.
Because it's so calm and there's smooth jazz, and you're just getting like jacked. Just being
Literally, everybody's like tweaking out. Like, meanwhile, there's just like a geriatric person trying to enjoy their soup.
I was at a Panera the other day, and they put it behind the counter. You have to order.
Oh, you have to order. That'll fix it. I love their solution.
Yeah. Because the thing about Panera, and this is not, this is not ethical necessarily. The drinks are free at Panera.
Yeah.
If you just don't type it in, you can just grab
Yeah,
a cup
no,
and leave them
literally.
out.
Come on. Listen, we're trying to survive in a capitalist society where we don't know if we're if we're in one, getting out of one, or in a recession. So it's just like, listen.
So you're not, and also like it's also because the drinks are like egregiously expensive. Like a soda at Panera, the soda cup is like $3.50.
Yeah.
So you're like, well, no one is, this isn't the airport. You can kind of grab stuff.
Totally. And I feel like if I am, because you it's a balancing act. So some days you pay for the Panera soda, some days you don't. And if I'm paying for it, I'm getting my money's worth.
I'm drinking 4 Panera. Charged lemonades.
Yeah, totally. Oh man. So you kind of just, and it's also like pretty cool to see your progression of like, okay, you were overweight and you started off doing yoga, and you kind of moved on to doing weights.
Thank you. Yeah, I do mostly weights now. I did DDP yoga, which is like a pro wrestler yoga program.
Oh, okay, nice.
I needed a I was thinking about it on the way because you sent me like a bunch of things to think about. So I was thinking on the way, and I basically needed like a character from my favorite TV show to show up and be like, "This is how you lose weight."
That's like like everybody has such specific motivators that they need. Like that's great. So what is that?
DDP yoga. It's like there's like a pro wrestler from New Jersey named DDP, and he has a yoga program, and he renames all the yoga moves after wrestling things.
That's awesome.
And it's the dumbest way to lose weight because you're like yoga always existed, but I needed a guy to rename it wrestling and be like, this is wrestling too. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'll do this.
Yeah, totally.
And I was like very in on it like the whole time, being like, but it was also like more strength based or whatever. That might also just be a thing they say.
Right. So you don't feel like a pussy boy, like a pussy bitch doing fucking yoga at home.
Yeah, and they're like, you're getting jacked, and I'm like, I guess I am.
Yeah, and you probably, yoga's hard.
Yeah, it is. It was also a good program for me because it was like designed for like obese people.
Totally.
And like when you download the app, the first thing it says is pick your ability level, and they're like, are you someone that can't stand up out of a chair? Like, there's like chair yoga, there's bedridden yoga.
Wow.
I got to go past those and be like, I actually can move.
They really know the pro wrestling audience.
I could actually stand up by myself. So I was doing that, and then like you eventually build up past that. But if you are like bedridden, you can
That's great.
It is.
That is, talk about inclusive.
Yeah.
Jeez, that gives a whole new, that literally is. So, I feel like that's what, that's body positivity right there. That is giving people that are bedridden the ability to exercise. And it's just so funny because that's so, it's not specific to wrestling audiences, but it's definitely a target.
Do you do yoga?
I used to do it very consistently.
Yeah.
Yoga with Adrian on YouTube, big fan. And yeah, I go through phases. Go through phases. I'm very all or nothing kind of person. Okay. So, if I'm doing it consistently, and if I'm not doing it, I'm not doing it at all. Yeah. But we have a stationary bike that I get my cycles in.
I have a stationary bike, but I stopped using it.
Really? Why?
It's a bike desk.
Oh,
and
okay.
I was like, I'm going to get so much work done working from home on my bike desk, and then I figured after 10 minutes of the bike desk, I can't think anymore.
Yeah.
I could, if I'm watching TV, I can follow a TV show.
Yeah.
But I actually after about 10 minutes don't really have the my mind gets just tired enough that I can't really answer emails anymore.
Totally. No, I refuse to let because that's a standing desk that I have over there, and I refuse to get one of the walking pads to go underneath it because I stand for 10 minutes and I'm like, enough. I'm like, if I put a walking pad on there, it's just going to be in my fucking way.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to make my life harder. Maybe one day I'll get there. Yeah, that's another thing. I go through phases. I go through phases where I'll stand all day, and then I'll go through phases where I sit down at my desk at 9 o'clock, and all of a sudden it's 4 o'clock, and I'm like, wow, I've been sedentary for
my
hours.
Job, I don't even I'm fully laid out on the couch.
No, I know. I use I've gone through phases like that. It, it ebbs and flows with my job, but I try to be as like present as possible.
Yeah.
Because I also find that like if I'll like save for my work all for the end of the day, and then I'm like, I can't go to an open mic now. I have to work late. It's like, no, bitch, you didn't work all day, you dumb bitch.
Yeah.
Just berating myself.
I try to get everything done immediately, and then like lift weights and go on walks. And
that is the move.
Yeah, and then,
I'm trying. I'm getting better.
But then during the busy period, I'll go for a walk, and then all of a sudden people start texting me, and I'm like, why did I walk so far from my house?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that's the like having a pet, man. I'm like, oh, Finn can use a walk, All of a sudden, like, you have a call at 12. Like, oh, fuck.
Yeah. But also, I think it's good working from home because, like, you just get rid of all the periods of time during the job where, like, you're pretending to work.
Oh.
That I would always have where I'd be like, yes, I'm at my desk. I'm not reading Wikipedia for no reason.
I used to have a dread come over me when I saw that it was only like 2 p.m.
Yeah.
I would literally want to fucking die.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, God damn it. Like, and I feel like work from home, when 5 o'clock rolls around, I'll answer emails. But like if a client is like, because I am client facing, like if a client is like, hey, can we jump on a call to do X, Y, and Z? If I know it's going to take me more than 5 minutes, I'll send you a Teams invite for us to talk tomorrow. Like, whereas in the office, I feel like I was just like stuck there. Like I couldn't leave at 5 o'clock. Like sometimes I would leave at like 6, 7, all just to keep up the appearances.
Yeah.
Whereas like now work from home, you can't see me. I don't exist. I'll get my fucking work done when it gets done.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So, but yeah, work from home is a treat, and also. It really helps with the cooking at home.
Oh yeah, of course. I do. That's one thing I think I'm very good with. Like I have like a healthy breakfast every morning. I do overnight oats with protein powder, some berries, and then at lunch I like bake meat. Like
bake meat?
Yeah.
Like chicken thighs.
Yeah, chicken thighs and like boneless pork ribs.
Yeah.
And have like a bunch of raw vegetables and some like green tea.
Nice.
And then I have like a snack, and then I ruin it all at dinner every day.
Okay.
That's the plan.
So you're like very regimented in that way.
I'm very regimented, and then dinner happens, and I'm kind of like, I gotta go to an open mic, so I have to eat pizza.
Yeah, totally.
Like a thing that only makes sense to you, and then you're there, and you're like, even if you're at the open mic, you're like, well, I could go to a healtty restaurant, and you're like, I will never. No. I've been good all day.
Yeah, that's the mindset, right?
Yeah,
I've been good all day. Time to gorge myself.
But being healthy throughout the day does keep me, I think, from having like some weird food hangover the next day. Or
Eating
like too crazily at night.
Totally.
But stand up is very bad for it because I'll do like a show and then I'll have like a long drive home and I'll be like, well, I have to eat something at the gas station, otherwise I will die.
Forget the road. Forget the road, man. Yeah. There is also like, I love having a gig that's like 3 to 4 hours away because it's like out there, but you're gonna come home. Like at night, you're gonna sleep in bed that night.
Yeah.
And like, I call it like a high. It's like a high of like, the show's over. We're going home. We're on the high of the show being over, and now we're gonna fucking stop at a gas station, get some gas station food or like a Wendy's drive-through, and it's just the greatest feeling ever. You're like, I have this sense of accomplishment because we just had a great show. Even if it's a bad show, you're like, I just had a show, not in New York, you know.
If I'm driving, I have to drink soda now, otherwise.
Totally, I got to stay awake. I have to stay awake.
And if I'm not driving, I'm like, I have to stay awake and then talk to the driver the whole
Absolutely.
time.
You have to be a good passenger friend. Come on. Like, you have to be a good guy to go on the road with. Like, there's nothing worse than having a gig out there and you're driving and the person you're with falls asleep. Oh my God. It drives me nuts.
Yeah.
So that's when I just turn the music up as loud as possible. It's like, you think you're fucking sleeping in here? Welcome to, like, hell.
If I'm driving and they fall asleep, I just put on a podcast.
Yeah.
I'm like, they have to listen to whatever weird thing I want.
Yeah, you're going to have a weird dream now because of whatever subliminal messaging is going into your brain as you sleep on me. Oh man. So you lost the weight essentially by having to be at home, so you didn't have access to the outside world, because even ordering food was fucking weird.
Yeah, I don't have like the patience for ordering delivery.
Yeah.
I'm always like when does it get here? And then if it doesn't, I don't know, I just don't like it.
No, I feel you completely.
Anything outside the Domino's pizza tracker, I'm
Totally.
like, it's not enough information.
yeah. We need to constantly
Yeah.
know where the food is en route.
Like you'll be doing the Domino's pizza tracker, and it'll be like they're doing the quality check. I'm like, they're looking at it right now.
Yeah,
Whatever that
totally.
step is. This is the they look at it step.
Yeah. They're seeing it come through. It's like, I really need to know every. It's like, okay, the guy making my pizza just went to the bathroom and washed his hands, and now he's about to mesh up the dough. It kind of sounds like you, don't take this the wrong way, but it's like poverty made you lose weight because your job like kind of like it sounds like you got let go, and it's like, all right, I'm gonna make my food at home.
Yeah, that was part of it too. Was I was like, I don't really know how I'm gonna get money because I'm not the type of guy. Like they were like, oh, just you file for unemployment.
Yeah,
and like I'm the guy that's like, not until I see the money in my account do I believe unemployment's real.
absolutely. I'm the same way. I'm the same way.
And then I filed for unemployment right before everyone else did because it was right before the lockdown happened, but then it was still like. You had to the process went all slow, and I had to wait to get someone to call me to like get a detail correct, and then it was like you got back pay, and you're like, I'm back.
Yeah. But then all of a sudden rent's due, and you're like, oh, that money goes fast.
Yeah. Yeah, but I was also like spending way less because I was like I wasn't eating out anymore, so I was like, I'm just gonna eat at home. I'm gonna go to the grocery store once a week.
Yeah.
And like again, you didn't really know what all the rules were, so you're like, I guess I'm going to go to the less crowded grocery store, so I see less people.
Right.
You start
Absolutely.
making these weird decisions based on that.
Yeah. Oh God, what a weird time.
No one knew how to get masks. My mom like sewed one and mailed it to me.
Oh yeah. My mom is a nurse, and she had like a ton of masks that were like sewn, which those masks don't even work.
Yeah.
So was this like your first weight loss?
Yeah. I think maybe when I was younger, I counted calories and lost a little bit, but I feel like I was like steadily gaining from when I was like, a very like young kid.
So were you a fat kid or?
Yeah, I wasn't, and then all of a sudden I was.
Like
and then,
puberty hit, and you were like
a little bit before puberty.
Okay.
Like maybe like 4th grade, all of a sudden I got fat, and I was.
You
like,
discovered like
yeah
pastries for breakfast or something.
Who knows? I was eating just crazy stuff for breakfast all the time.
Yeah.
Oreo O's or whatever.
Where are you from?
The Jersey Shore.
Oh, nice.
You're from Jersey too, right?
Yeah, I'm from Sayreville.
Oh yeah.
Awesome.
Is Sayreville a crazy town?
Crazy? What do you mean?
Like full of crazy people?
I mean, one could argue. One could argue. I mean, it's a cool town. And, Starland Ballroom?
Yeah.
It's in there, like in that. It's in Sayreville. But you're from Belmar.
Yeah.
Oh, I had a shore house back when I was a little slut at the Jersey Shore. It was the best summers of my life. Truly the best summers of my life. How do you feel about people like me coming to your town for?
Oh, I don't care, but everyone else is angry about it.
Yeah.
And we had like a slur for people from not from the shore.
Yeah.
Which was Benny's.
Yeah, Benny's. Yeah.
So everyone always be like, oh, the Benny's are coming.
I never really considered myself a Benny because I am from 25 minutes away. Like I'm not coming down from Paramus.
Sure, yeah.
I'm not coming from Bergen County, which everyone else in my shore house lived. But
well, here are the two qualities of Benny's.
Okay.
They drive badly.
Okay, well, one could argue.
And then they go to DJs.
Oh, I'm fully Benny.
No.
No, literally. I was obsessed with DJs and Bar A, and oh my God, it was so fun.
I grew up 2 blocks from Bar A.
Oh my God, okay.
So locals would sometimes go to Bar A, but definitely never DJs.
My shore house was on 6th.
Oh, it was between 17th and 18th.
Oh, I was on 16th.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I was on 16th. I couldn't remember if it was 6 or 16. Yeah.
We would go to all like the weird local bars like Paul's.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then there was like the 2 Irish bars.
Yep.
I don't remember what they were called, but they've got different names now. But
yeah,
those were like that was like what if you were a local, you would go to those.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had my shore houses in 2015 and 2016.
Okay, that probably would have been around when I moved to Jersey City.
Yeah, makes sense.
Maybe it was like 1 year, 2015. I think we would have.
Yeah. Cross paths. I looked completely different.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the shore though. So fun.
It's great. I loved growing up there, and I still have like a weird sense of pride about the Jersey Shore.
Absolutely.
I don't know why. I just do like. I think it's part of it is that like there's a period of time where it was all about that reality show.
Oh, Jersey Shore.
All of it, Jersey Shore. So all of us.
But that
were
was Seaside, yeah.
Yeah, but we were all still. Everyone down there was like, they're making us look bad.
Oh,
which I didn't. I never bought.
I loved it.
But also, it was sort of like. All of a sudden, where I grew up was kind of like became like a joke.
Yeah.
So I was sort of like, "No, man, it's great."
Yeah, totally. You had that
Yeah.
pride for it. No, absolutely. Yeah, we like, because how old are you?
34.
34. Okay, so
Yeah.
I'm 31. So we're essentially the same age.
Yeah, basically.
But we like grew up when we were teens and 20-year-olds when Real Housewives of New Jersey and Jersey Shore were like very popular shows. So
Yeah.
I have a huge sense of pride being from Jersey and being from where I'm from in Jersey. And I think those television shows have something to do with that.
Yeah.
Also, I think like the food in New York is great.
Mhm.
Don't get me wrong. It's a fabulous city with fabulous food. I think the food in New Jersey is so fucking good. Like, I think our pizza is better. Our bagels are better.
I think
Like,
the pizza's better, but it's not bad.
it's not.
Yeah.
It's not bad at all. Are you kidding?
I think the New York pizza is still better, but it's not like, I mean, it's better than any other area around.
Absolutely.
Like Jersey is like a close number 2, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. I consider it one and the same.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's really easy to get fat in New Jersey.
Yeah.
Because we have the best food. Like, you ever have like a fat sandwich from New Brunswick?
I went to Rutgers, but I tried not to eat those.
You went to Rutgers.
Yeah,
and you
I had like
didn't
one
eat
or
fat
two
sandwiches?
of them. Yeah. I think my whole thing was like, because that was a time where I was like, I knew I was gonna get real fat one day.
Yeah.
And I was like, I need to temper this a little bit.
Okay.
So I was tempering it a little bit in college, and I was like, so I was like, I'm gonna have one fat sandwich, and I ate one of them, and then I got drunk one night and had a second one. Because everyone was like, everyone was getting them, so I was like, oh, I'll get one too.
Yeah. But like, fat sandwiches wasn't the only food that you could gorge yourself on in New Brunswick. Like,
because fat sandwich is basically a cheesesteak with like French fries and mozzarella.
yeah, a fat sandwich. Yeah, like exactly what you said.
Yeah.
Like, you could have like French fries, chicken fingers, cheesesteak, fucking buffalo
Yeah.
chicken. Like, oh, they were so good. They were so good. But I bet if I were to have one now, they wouldn't be as good as I remembered it.
Yeah, for sure. No.
Mozzarella sticks on there. Oh, so good with honey mustard.
Yeah, I didn't even like the one that I had. Like, they didn't
Yeah,
even like it
yeah,
that much. I wasn't like someone that was like, this is the greatest I've ever had.
Those are rough to eat drunk, and
Yeah.
then you either throw up, hope if you're lucky, night of, or because throwing that up hungover the next
That
day.
was rough.
Oh,
I was never a throw up person though when I got drunk.
oh okay.
I always like kind of kept it together.
Yeah. Okay. How did you have this like knowing that you were going to be a fat person?
Oh, I don't know. I just knew that I was like more at risk for it than other people. I don't think I've ever really believed I was going to get very fat, but I was like, I knew it was a possibility.
Right.
'Cause some people they don't ever get fat. They just seem
Yeah,
normal.
they just
And whereas for me, I was like, I definitely have some battle with it because I like know that I'm like obsessed with food.
Okay.
Even then, so I was like,
What do you mean you knew you're obsessed with food?
just obsessed. I just think about it all the time.
Always
Like,
thinking
getting,
about the
like,
next
food and,
meal.
like I like loved soda, like full sugar sodas. I was drinking them all the time. So I like, I knew it was more of a danger for me than other people who were like thin that seemed to be able to just like, yeah, I'm thin.
Yeah.
I can have one of these. It's fine.
Yeah,
So
no.
sometimes I don't even think about what else I'm eating throughout the day, and I'm like, that's never happened to me.
Right, I know. It's like these girls that are like, I forgot to have lunch. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, what's that like?
Yeah, some people are like that. They're like, yeah, sometimes I don't really think about that much, and whereas for me, like that's all I think about, really.
Yeah. Even like with drugs like Ozempic, they're like, oh, it took away the food noise. I just don't see that working for me.
Yeah.
Like, I am always thinking about food.
Yeah.
Always. Like, always preparing. Like, okay, I want, like, I don't know. What do you think about Ozempic and all that stuff?
I don't know what it is, and it doesn't seem like I feel like every time I hear about it, people are like, this is helping people lose weight, but it seems dangerous. So it doesn't seem like a thing that I'm like, I need to explore that.
I know anything that's like too good.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, a drug that you can take for now you're skinny. Like, that sounds fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Ozempic is, well, it's a diabetes medication.
Okay.
It's meant for people that have like blood sugar issues. It
Yeah.
helps control their insulin or whatever. But it is proven effective in weight loss because you inject it. It's not an oral medication. You inject it, and you basically stay fuller longer,
Okay.
which is why you eat less.
That makes
And
sense.
you feel really sick if you like eat beyond
Okay.
what your body will allow you to eat.
Yeah.
And this isn't it exactly, but what it really is the food that you eat. Like, let's say you eat your overnight oats at 10 a.m.
Mhm.
You know, your body does the digestion thing so that by like 1 p.m. you're hungry again.
Yeah.
Well, with Ozempic, you eat your overnight oats at 10 a.m. and it slows the digestion stage of when your food empties from your stomach into your intestine.
Okay.
And so because it's slowing down the process, you are fuller longer. So like now you're not going to be hungry until like 4 p.m. because your stomach isn't empty.
That I don't want that.
Yeah, your food like rots in your stomach.
Yeah, I don't think that's good.
Yeah.
And some of it might be because I like when I did lose the weight, it was through yoga, which even if it was like the silly wrestler yoga, he was still very much like you should be eating natural foods.
Yeah.
And like within the program, they would recommend you watch like certain documentaries that were like Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead, and like other ones that were encouraging natural eating. And even for a little bit, I was like, maybe I should go vegan, and I was like trying to eat more like eat that way. I ultimately decided not to do that.
A vegan, non-drinker, no drugger, like you're like a straight edge guy for life. You have to have the X's tattooed on your hands.
It'd be really hardcore to do. I just don't think I could lift weights, and then also
yeah, no, totally.
That's really what it is like I want to lift weights, and you need to eat meat if you're gonna do that.
I know, especially like I applaud straight edge vegans because it's so hard. Life is so hard, and so like to do all that, and you have to find an alternative source of protein.
Yeah,
like no. And meat is also just like less expensive.
It's good. Yeah, it's good. Also, I think the only reason I also was with it was I decided at one point that red meat was bad, so I stopped eating red meat when I was like heavily dieting.
Okay.
Because I would eat like a steak and I'd be like, this is heavy, and I still kind of feel that way a little bit. So I don't. But now I don't like not eat red meat. I just like don't eat way less of it than I used to.
Why did you think red meat was bad?
I was watching documentaries, and then I would eat it, and I'd be like, I guess it does kind of.
Yeah, no, it you could be pretty quickly evangelized to be against meat after watching a documentary like Food Inc. or something. Where like, oh God.
Yeah, that was one of the ones I watched.
Oh, hell yeah.
You know what was fun? Remember the part in the pandemic where like everyone bought all the chicken so you couldn't buy chicken?
Yep.
There's a few weeks with that, and so I started buying lamb, and I would just make these like. I would just grill these
lamb sandwiches.
Exquisite lamb.
Yeah,
lamb
is delicious.
Steak. Yeah, it was delicious, and it was like kind of expensive, but I would be like, this is great. But after then I started being like, red meat is evil, and then they started having chicken again. I'm like, all right, that's enough.
Yeah, that's enough lamb. Gosh, lambs and veal are so cute. And it's like I don't want to say I've stopped eating it because I will occasionally, but like I don't as much as I used to now. But it's just so hard when you're at like a nice Italian restaurant and like you just want some veal parmesan.
Yeah, I'm not really in a position to have that much veal, I don't think. It doesn't come up that often.
It really doesn't come up that often, which is why I sometimes feel like, oh, I can have veal because it doesn't come up. But I do feel better about myself when I have like a fucking stupid ass no-soul chicken.
Yeah, although the chickens are also totally abused or whatever.
I know, poor chickens.
Yeah.
But it's just whatever. I have to tell myself to sleep at night. So do you worry about gaining weight back?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's definitely a concern. I think I'm at a point where I probably do need to like straighten up and diet seriously again.
You think?
But it's difficult because stand up gets in the way constantly.
Yeah.
I'll be like, okay, I'm going to do the diet. And then I start thinking about my schedule where I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to be out late these nights. And it's going to be very difficult to do it on those nights. Or then other things come on. And then the holidays were just like really tough with it.
Oof, yeah.
So it's, and you're like, well, the holidays are done. I'm going to start eating better again. Then you're like, yeah, but then I have this activity this day. So it becomes a thing where you're like, it just kind of rolls on where you're like, well, eventually I'll kind of break it down again. And then if you don't drink, if you're on dates with women, I think having like ice cream or dessert kind of replaces alcohol.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, I have to date people too, so I have to do this at some point.
Yeah,
so
I have to factor in my ice cream budget.
Yeah, you can't be like, I do not drink and I also do not have sweets, so we need to.
This guy's. I went on a date with a psychopath.
You're like, we have to exercise on all of our dates.
Yeah. Do you want to do this GPT yoga or whatever it's called? Oh gosh, how is dating?
It's okay. It's difficult. It's like I don't know. It's difficult because it's difficult, I guess.
Yes, it's difficult. I hear you. It's very difficult.
I didn't have a thought up answer. How's dating for you?
I am essentially married to Joe.
He tells people you guys are married.
I know, which I don't even stop him anymore because I'm like, well, I mean, we live together.
Yeah.
And then my girlfriends are like, so when's he going to ask? And I'm like, you better not. Like, I'm just a baby. Yeah, no. I mean, dating sucks. Dating's horrible.
Yeah.
Do
you guys have like fancy dinners together?
Sometimes. Yeah. I feel like for the holidays, we went through a few different fancy dinners because parents were in town.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, that'll allow for a fancy dinner. Oh, hello. And, but, you know, we try to have a date night, you know. But it's easy to have a date night in New York and it not be like, it could either be incredibly expensive or not that expensive, depending on like how you finesse it.
Oh, yeah.
You know? But when you're like in the stage of dating of like meeting a new person where it's like, well, I'm single and I'm trying to find somebody, you know, to go and have like consistent dates with, it's hard because you want to be like, I would like nervously like be eating and drinking on dates because I'm just like so scared that like I'm meeting a stranger, you know? So that's a whole nother factor. And you want to like, you're trying to like trick them into thinking you're like a cool person, you know? Oh God, it's hell.
Yeah, like I'm not a guy that structures every single time that I eat all
yeah, no, yeah, literally. I'm really cool and go
normal.
with the flow. Yeah. Oh God. What else was I gonna ask you? So do you said, you know, you kind of want to get back into being more I guess serious, restrictive with your dieting.
Mm-hmm.
Do you worry about gaining the weight back and like if you like you go to half price apps and now in your head you're like, okay, well that's like now I have to do the work to like undo what I did?
No, I don't think that I maybe in some way where I'm kind of like, I woke up this morning, I'm like, I need to go for a walk a little bit first and kind of like walk off some of that. And have some degree of like, I've got bad fuel in me now. So I need to kind of work through that. But I'm not like, I don't like punish myself. I'm sort of, if anything, my attitude about it was I was like, this is happening. So I'm just going to try to enjoy it for what it is. I'm in like a big group chat that for some reason, like one of the memes of the group chat is that we're all going to go to Applebee's one day.
Okay.
And then like a significant amount of us went to Applebee's for the appetizers. And then part of the fun was going there, ordering a bunch of food, and then taking a picture and sending it to the rest of the group chat that wasn't there to be like, you guys missed out on the
fucking
Applebee's
losers.
trip.
Hell yeah.
You could have been here, but you didn't.
So you'll never feel bad for the bit.
Yeah.
When you were fatter, were you like upset at roast jokes about the way that you looked?
No, I don't think so. I don't really know why. I think around the time I started doing roasting, I had a change of mindset, which was that it was bad to be fat. Like I sort of was like, I kind of like myself as a big fat guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like I thought it was fun to be a big fat guy eating Applebee's, and I thought it was like funny that I was like drinking Mountain Dew all the time. Like it was funny to me that I was fat, but I was also like, this is unhealthy. Like I stopped denying to myself that it wasn't unhealthy to be fat.
Right. Okay.
So I like had some degree of acceptance over it all. Like I kind of accepted that I was fat, and for some reason, like there was a roast battle I did at one point where I'm like telling this in the wrong order. So one night, me and my friend Bobby Sheehan, he's been here a bunch.
Yeah.
Yes. He we used to go to half price appetizers together when he lived in Jersey, and then some like two Staten Island comics, Farouk and Nick Cara, came and hung out with us the one time. And then while we were there, Farouk found out that I have a gay dad, so he just kept doing incessant jokes about how he was having sex with my dad, which I thought was like kind of funny.
That's very funny.
Which, although if you
and not at all gay.
Yeah, which if you asked me when I was like 14, if someone was gonna do that, I'd be kind of like, that's the worst case scenario.
Yeah.
But then I was
that
like
would
an adult,
ruin me.
and I was like, I don't care. That's funny. Like,
like
they're clearly not like, you have a gay dad, get the fuck away from me. It was like,
right.
That's funny. And then we did a whole battle where like he was doing that, and I was pretending to get upset. And there was something about kind of like owning that where I was like, that was actually like kind of like healing, I guess.
Yeah.
So I kind of like took that a little bit within the roast. Was that like, yeah, they would do fat jokes, but like I kind of like attention so much that I don't care.
Wow, I wish I could be you, man. Because like you could say I am old, you could say I'm ugly, you could say that I'm not funny, you can say you could say so much about me, but if you call out my weight, it like ruins me, and that's just like.
How come?
Childhood shit. It has to be childhood because I've always was so nervous, even when I wasn't at all fat. Like I always was like terrified of like people making fun of me because I thought that meant that I was like an other or an outcast, you know?
Yeah.
But that's great. That's awesome. And maybe I'll get there. But it is a good motivator, though, because you're just like, well, I have to be funny
Yeah.
because then they can't say shit, really, you know? But then, like, the funnier that you get at something like roasting, like, the harder and meaner people are going to be to you about it.
Yeah, and I don't even know quite why I feel this way, because we did it like a roast of me where we had like all the Jersey comics like do jokes about me, and the video of it ended up being like 50 minutes long, which is like a pretty long amount of time for people to do jokes about me. But I left that just feeling good.
Yeah.
I didn't leave there being like everyone was mean to me.
No, it's like all these people love me.
Yeah, I was like, that was fun. And then
Yeah.
and like I don't for some reason internalize roast jokes in any way.
That's amazing.
And I don't know why I don't. I just,
yeah,
like,
that's great. You're not, don't change anything. Don't leave this conversation. And now you're like, I'm leaving roasting. I'm not doing it anymore.
Yeah.
Because I've realized that I should be hurt by people's mean things that they say.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So what made you want to do this podcast?
So I'm obsessed with food.
Yes.
It's the only thing I think about. And I really like talking to people about like their journeys with weight loss, their experiences with eating disorders, because I find a lot of comfort in listening to people talk about it. And also like just trying to figure this out, trying to figure out like just like a life where like I'm not crash dieting, or I don't know. I'm trying to just crowdsource how to be a person.
I think that makes sense. And I think being open to whatever people are saying, I think, is probably good. This is gonna sound dumb, but like when I used to work at an office, and then I would have on my second screen just like, you know, podcasts that I would watch, and there would be podcasts that would come up on YouTube, and it would be like Joe Rogan says it's unhealthy to be fat.
Yeah.
And I would see that tag, and I would be like, I like feel like a pit in my stomach a little bit.
Yeah.
But eventually I was like just clicking on them.
Yeah.
And then some like health person would be like, this is why it's bad. This is things you can do. And I feel like coming to terms with that was like kind of healthy.
Yeah.
Which just sounds dumb to be like, Joe Rogan says I was unhealthy, and then that helped me in a new direction. But I think it weirdly kind of did.
I think that I agree and I disagree with a headline like it's unhealthy to be fat, because it's unhealthy to drink massive amounts of Baja Blast.
Sure.
It's unhealthy to, it's unhealthy unhealthy to have a lot of like added sugars.
Yeah.
But there are just people that like their thinnest is someone's fattest, but they're like just metabolically like that's how their body looks when they're doing everything right.
Yeah.
So there's also that aspect to it. And I think fatness also is an indicator that things are like spiraling out of one's life.
Yeah, it's an indicator, but it's not necessarily a full.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that societally, we look at fat people like, you have no self-control.
Yes.
When it's like, maybe they're in an abusive relationship. Maybe, like maybe there are so many factors that could be contributing to the way that a person looks. And so I just like want to like look and uncover all of it,
Yeah, that makes sense.
And there are also people that are at their thinnest that are wildly unhealthy.
Oh, of course.
Because they're anorexic, or they're, doing whatever that makes them, they're addicted to drugs or something.
Yeah.
So
you could have just as just as like poor understanding of nutrition and be very, very skinny.
Yeah. And I think that people that have ever struggled with their weight are like experts at nutrition. Like you've had to learn how to like eat correctly or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
So now you have this knowledge that like a regular person, that like the person that we were talking about that can just like eat whatever and not gain weight, they have no idea.
Yeah.
But who's going to be the one with, fucked up cholesterol when they're 50,
Yeah.
You could be a very skinny person and be in horrible health.
Yeah.
It's really about exercising and eating clean. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
And drink water.
Yeah, water's a big thing. I didn't drink water for a very long time.
I don't understand people that don't drink water.
It was boring.
I like
had to retrain myself to like water and carrots, because for a while I was like, carrots are so gross, but I had to eventually be like now
carrots are gross.
Yeah,
what?
I don't know. I think I was just like really fucked up on like sugar and salt.
What was the food like at home when you were growing up?
I don't know. It wasn't like overwhelmingly bad. I think there was just, like not really a lot of restrictions on certain things there maybe probably should have been.
Okay.
Like I was allowed to eat like whatever like sugar cereal I wanted for breakfast.
Yeah.
But I wasn't like eating like tons of it. I was just having like a that, and then have like school lunch. And then we'd have like a dinner that'd be like a meat, like a vegetable, and like a bread. So it wasn't that bad. But I think we'd have like dessert every day. Maybe that was probably
Dessert
the
every
problem.
day is a little, yeah.
So it wasn't like
What
we were
was
eating
dessert
crazily.
looking like? Like an Entenmann's cake?
It's like a little ice cream.
Yeah, a little ice
It
cream.
wasn't. I don't think it was even all that wild.
Yeah.
I just think that like I don't know. I don't think I had a good understanding of like the food I ate and how it affected me in any way. I was
Totally.
just kind of eating whatever I liked.
Did you or do you have siblings?
I have an older sister. Yeah.
Okay. Did she ever struggle with her weight?
I don't know. I think she is now a little bit, but she's all had 2 kids now.
Yeah,
so
I
it's
mean
like a
that's
different.
that's a different ball game.
Yeah. It's a different thing, but like I don't know if she did. My mom always kind of struggled with her weight, and then my
Okay.
dad didn't gain weight until like way later in life. Like he's a little heavy now, but
Okay.
he wasn't when I was growing up at all.
Would you consider yourself like an emotional eater?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Probably positive and negative.
Oh,
emotions.
absolutely. Oh, I know how to celebrate, and I know how to really like kill myself with
Yeah,
food. It's like sometimes I feel like I should have written down a suicide note before I like ordered that like order of sushi or whatever that I just inhaled by myself.
Yeah.
I'm talking about like how I really used to eat. I have a much more of a handle on it, but do you like have you ever struggled with like binging?
I don't know that I binge. I think it's more like I'll have like a negative foundation where I'll eat something unhealthy one day and I'm like, this is gonna be every day.
Yeah. Like throw
This
the
is an
baby
everyday
out
thing.
with the bathwater.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
this is my life until I decide to change it, and then I'm gonna be like regimented and
When I was at my heaviest, I like worked at an office that was an hour away from where I lived. So I didn't really have time to like, make a breakfast or relax.
Yeah.
I'd like wake up and I'd be like, I had a thing at that job where the earlier I got to work, the earlier I got to leave.
oh yeah.
So I'd wake up and I'd be like, it's time to go.
yeah, yeah.
And I would like shower real quick and then I'd get my stuff and then I'd stop at the Dunkin' Donuts and I would get a large iced coffee with like milk and sugar in it,
Yeah.
and which is like a crazy amount of calories. Like
Yeah.
probably 300 at least.
300 calories in first
Yeah.
thing you're eating of
First
the
thing,
day.
yeah. Plus I would get 2 egg and cheese wraps.
Yep.
Which is like another like 200 each.
Yep.
So it's probably around like 700, and then I would get like a double chocolate donut.
Nice.
I
You
would-
really started your day
I
off.
would eat it in the car on the way there, and that was the only thing I could eat that like would keep me from like not falling asleep all day at work.
You're
'Cause
just on a
I
sugar
was so
high.
tired, and then I would eat lunch at like 11 still. And then I would just be like, and then somewhere, and I was just out of my mind because I was like staying up late doing stand up, and then having like this hour plus drive back and forth to work that was heavily dependent on traffic.
Sounds like hell.
Yeah.
Sounds like if I were to die and I was
Yeah.
sent to hell, I would just have to be reliving that day.
And like this like weird office that also had a warehouse that was like very hot in the summer and like really cold in the winter.
Oh, nothing like
So
a New
it was
Jersey
just-
warehouse. Where you're just like, someone fucking kill me.
And just like eating whatever fast food I want every day for lunch till eventually I started experimenting with healthier eating while I was there.
Yeah.
Where I would be like, I'm gonna get a rotisserie chicken every other day and then cut it up and eat it. And half today, half tomorrow. And I would have carrots and teach myself how to like carrots.
You're like,
And I was eating with like 2 like older Chinese people, and like the old Chinese lady, she would eat like a healthy portion of like rice, a healthy portion of vegetables, and like a little bit of meat.
yeah.
And she was like, very thin. Just,
Right.
Like the Chinese, they're so efficient.
Yeah, they really are.
Not
They just
messing
got
around.
everything
She's
down
like,
to a
This
science.
is the amount of food I require.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
she would
yeah,
go
yeah.
back,
Yeah.
totally fine the whole day.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm like cutting up some rotisserie chicken.
Right.
with some
Right. With
gas.
with your hands.
They're like totally fine. Like that's what he does.
yeah. Yeah.
He's American.
God.
That's what they do.
Yeah. They just fucking rip into a rotisserie chicken in the middle of the day.
Yeah. So doing that, and then also where the Joe Rogan things went negative was at one point he was really into the carnivore diet.
Oh yeah, I
And I
remember
was
that. I
like-
remember that phase.
I was like, I'm gonna try it too, and it did. I think help me lose weight because I like stopped eating like like cheese,
Bread,
and
yeah.
and like all these unhealthy things. But like, it really fucks up your stomach.
Yeah, you cannot shit.
For I think like after I stopped doing it, for like a month or 2.
Your body was like, you really fucked us this time,
Because
Mark.
it wasn't like I came back out and then I was like, I'm eating vegetables now. I was still just like,
Yeah.
like, all right, we got the cheese and breads back.
But like, how fucked up are all of us that like we think, oh, let's just eat a bunch of meat. Like that'll be good. That's not gonna clog the pipes at all.
That's gonna fix everything.
Yeah. Never mind like the fucking food that is given to us by the earth.
Yeah.
We don't need that. No.
Yeah, but also that time I had like sleep apnea, so I had like a sleep apnea mask.
Oh yeah,
So
sleep
I was,
apnea is dangerous.
Yeah, which is why I was drinking these huge coffees, because I would be like,
not sleeping.
Yeah, I wouldn't be sleeping, and then I'd like be like falling asleep on the way there, so I'd like drink a huge coffee.
Yeah,
and then then I would drink the huge coffee and have to like piss so bad. I also had like a peeing problem.
Okay.
I was like heavy, where I was like peeing all the time.
Okay, why do you think that is?
I think some of it was being fat, because I haven't had it I think there literally was just there's just too much of me, and then the seatbelt was like pressing my belt into me.
Oh God.
Was that I think that was probably a little bit of it.
Yeah.
And then I had a inflamed prostate, so I was just like pissing all the time.
You had your
Just
nether
too much.
regions
Just
were
too much
fucked.
body,
Yeah.
Just too much of my body, and I had to I think once I started losing weight, a lot of that pressure kind of went away.
Yeah.
I think I really was just at the edges of what I could end up
Yeah.
being.
You're really pushing the limit of your existence.
Which is why, again, I needed videos to be like, this is unhealthy. And I'm like, it does seem to be that way.
As if you aren't at all present in your waking life.
You go to the consultation, they'd be like, well, you should try to lose some weight. And I'm kind of like, okay, what else?
Yeah. What are the other options?
And none of the medication stuff was ever good, because you would get the sleep apnea machine, and then it wouldn't quite work because the mask was the wrong size. And then you'd have to and then they'd be like, okay, yeah, just go to your, just do this, and then insurance would be like, we're not paying for that.
Yeah, no, insurance tells you to go fuck yourself. Hey, fat fuck, go fuck yourself.
You also, for some reason, couldn't adjust the air pressure yourself. You had to get the doctor to do it, and they would do it wrong sometimes. So it would when you've never used one of those masks, right?
No.
You sleep so deep when you've got one on.
Yeah, because you're just getting so much
you're
oxygen.
You're it feels so good.
Yeah.
But what it would do is it would come out a normal level of air, to help you fall asleep. And then at some point, I guess it would ramp up to be now we're really gonna give him some air.
Yeah.
And that would wake me up, and then I had to be oh, I'm up.
Yeah.
And I'd put it back on, and I would go back to sleep.
Oh my God. Yeah, all of that because you just are so obese.
Yeah, and I was snoring like crazy. Anyone that stayed over, they were like, this is crazy that you're snoring like this.
Yeah. You sound like
I don't know what to tell you. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, you sound like
You
rigor
sound like you're gonna
mortis
die.
is gonna set in.
Yeah, which is again why I can't ever get back to that, because I'll just go back to snoring too much and stuff. So I have to
Totally. Sleep apnea is one of those ones where it's you literally can fix it by losing weight.
Yeah,
You know?
I have a bit about it, but they told me that if your neck gets bigger than 17 inches around, it's too big.
What do you mean?
If your neck, my neck would gotten so much fatter on my neck that it was 19 inches circumference.
Oh my
And
God.
if your neck is over 17 inch circumference, it's too big.
Duly noted. I have to measure my neck.
Which you can also get if you lift tons of weights.
Yeah.
The Rogan, he's got that fucking
Yeah.
huge,
That
muscle
trunk
neck.
Yeah.
And apparently he has to sleep with a mouth guard.
Oh my
Because
God.
your neck can get too
It's
big.
too much of one thing is
Yeah,
bad.
yeah.
You just got to be in the middle somewhere.
Yeah, you can get big traps, but you have to
Yeah. I don't know how to fix not getting a big neck from working out. I don't know.
to do less of the
Yeah.
neck exercises.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So you obviously, but here's the thing. I don't think you're anywhere near being in a sleep apnea mask territory.
Yeah.
But you're worried about that?
Sometimes I do. I was until I went to the doctor last year. I hadn't gone to the doctor in years.
Yeah.
So because I don't understand how insurance works.
Yeah.
So I'm to me, insurance is you go to the doctor and then you get a bill for an amount sometime later.
Yeah, totally.
And I'm I don't know if I need to do this, but I was you know what? I'm going to stop being a baby. I'm going to go to the doctor. And I'm also afraid of needles.
Yeah.
So they I went to the doctor and I was brave and got the blood test and managed to not pass out. And I was hey, this might be something very bad. I might need to really diet and get back into it. And they were you're all fine.
Yeah.
No cholesterol issue, no things.
Yeah.
And then I was no, I'll diet later.
I mean, keep doing what you're doing. If that's the case, that's my biggest thing. No matter how you look, if you're getting a clean bill of health from the doctor, fuck what you heard about anything else. Be you, be happy, That's the biggest thing is making. Because every time I go to the doctor, they're you're fine. You don't have any cholesterol issues. But I have skinny friends that have like high blood pressure.
Yeah, because they're probably eating like a few really bad things.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make them gain weight.
Right.
Or they're not eating a few other things.
Yeah.
Like my skinniest friend, it's Ben Miller. Ben Miller is very skinny.
Yeah.
I don't think he eats like anywhere near enough protein.
Right.
He would hate that.
He
I'm
does
talking about
seem
him
like a
this,
little anemic
'cause Ben's
boy.
very like private about the dumbest possible things. But I don't think he eats nearly enough protein.
Right.
There's no chance that whatever the protein thing is, he's eating
Right.
nearly enough.
Right. Totally.
I've seen him eat. He'll eat like a big peanut butter sandwich, which is like has some protein, but like not enough.
It's mostly
Then,
sugar.
like some pierogies and
Yeah,
stuff, and just move on with his life.
He's just like one of those people that like it doesn't pile onto his body, so he just like isn't affected by it. And he also probably has a very different relationship with food, where it's like I feel like you and I have like fat brain, where it's just like we're always thinking about the next meal, always like
he's not thinking about it at all.
Not
He's
at all.
doing
Could you
other
imagine
things.
not thinking about food at all?
Yeah, that'd be weird.
What
But
would- What's the point of living?
Whereas he just like doesn't think about it. And he's like, oh yeah, I guess I'll have some, like pierogies or whatever.
Yeah,
And but he's also not like doing a ton of exercise or anything, so he's not burning through a lot of
totally.
calories. I don't know, but I think if he was like, I'm going to be serious about eating a lot of protein,
Yeah.
I do think he'd probably fill out a bit,
Yeah.
like immediately, in a way that would be good. But he's not going to do that.
Ben Miller, you look wonderful just the way you are. Don't change a thing.
You look fine.
Yeah. So I have to ask because you mentioned it. So your dad's gay.
Yes.
So when did that come out?
When I was like, my sister told me when I was like really young.
Okay.
When I was like 5 or 6, she was like, dad's dating this one guy, and he's gonna but he's not gonna tell mom till after the ski trip. And I'm like,
That's a lot to put on a
who knows
6-year-old.
when that is? Because you don't really understand like the calendar yet. And then it just like didn't come up again, so I'm like, that wasn't real.
Did I dream that?
Yeah, that didn't have any basis on fact. And then so when I was around like 12 or 13 is when like him and William were like clearly like seeing each other all the time. We were at William's house a lot, and we're just like
Uncle Billy.
Yeah, it was never that, but it was like we were like, this is going to he's gonna live with William now. So like that's kind of around the time, but like I don't know, like when you're that age, like I just like didn't talk about it with anyone at school.
No
because
shit.
I was like, I don't know what anyone's gonna think about
No
this.
shit.
So like it wasn't like you had a lot of feedback from the world outside or outside me. It was just almost like a private weird thing that was going on.
Isn't it crazy how different your experience
Yeah.
would have been if you were a kid experiencing that now? You would be
Yeah,
TikTok famous. Literally. You'd be
Yeah.
like, so story time. My dad has a boyfriend.
No cap. He's got a boyfriend. Yeah. Whereas
Put
then
a
you're
finger
like,
down if your dad came out as a
Yeah.
homosexual when you were 13 years old, but you first got told when you were 6 before going to a family ski trip.
Yeah, whereas now, back then, like I don't know what anyone's gonna think about this, and I sometimes like wonder about that. Like, still, like I asked my dad the one day, I was like, do you think the other parents at school knew? Like, do you think they could tell? Because after I would tell people, they were like, oh yeah, he's like. So I had a friend that was like, he's obviously gay, and I'm like, what do you mean?
What
he's
do you
obvious?
mean obvious?
What do you mean it's obvious? Like, because like only that's just the first man that I know, so like that's I don't really see much different. And my dad
what do
also
you-
like is like very tough in a lot of ways. Like he would like make fun of me for being afraid of roller coasters and stuff. Like
Okay.
he's a little bit alpha-ish in a
Yeah.
way. So
Which is like just
like
a
a
not.
dad,
Yeah,
yeah.
as a dad.
he had a song like if I would want to do something, he had a song called the Party Pooper song. Like, every party needs a pooper. That's why we invited you. So like he wasn't like he wasn't like I'd come home and he'd
like
be
a femme.
yeah, he wasn't like everyone. Let's all have a hug when we get home.
Yeah. So what was mom doing?
Who knows? I think that like that was the thing where I think they had a conversation with him being gay before they got married, and they were like, "We'll have kids," and then kind of go our separate ways. And
Really? Like very Liza Minnelli.
yeah, and then they just didn't. And then my mom was like, he's not into that anymore. And then he was like, no, I am. So then I guess it kind of went back the other way.
Did they get divorced?
Yeah, but they were like, it was like a very amicable divorce. Like it wasn't like it wasn't like a big fight or anything. And I think one thing I really respect about my mom is that my mom was like, very almost immediately, I think seemed to be like, anything I do to keep my kids away from their dad is bad.
Yeah.
Like it's good for and she tells a story where she had one friend that was like, when she was like telling her about it, she was like, that's horrible that he's doing this to you. You should like not let him see the kids and all this other stuff. And she's like, are you stupid?
You're a bad friend.
What if something happens to me? And then they're like, oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
it's apparent. And so she went into the marriage and the relationship with him kind of knowing this.
Yeah, and then it didn't come up for a while. So that's what my dad says. It didn't really come up again. So
yeah,
we didn't like.
Yeah.
We just didn't talk about it. And he wasn't like, he was like acting like a husband, so he wasn't, you know.
Right.
So that was kind of the thing. But eventually he was like, I'm gonna go do my own thing, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The kids are old enough.
Yeah. And I have I think my dad overshared my sister like a little too much.
Okay. Girl talk.
Yeah, so she has like a little bit different of a relationship with my dad, whereas like he would try things with her and then it wouldn't go well, and he's like, no, I gotta do that different with Mark. And
Yeah.
He would, and it would go fine.
Yeah.
So like I have like I think my sister has like a way more complicated relationship with my dad.
Yeah.
Where he's like she like resents certain things that I have no
feelings on.
Zero ill feelings on. Also, I'm a different temperament.
Yeah.
My sister's very like, if my dad tells her to do something and she doesn't want to do it, she's always, even now, still kind of like, no, I'm not going to.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm like,
How much older is she?
5 years.
Okay.
Whereas for me, I'm kind of like, I understand you feel that way, and then I just do whatever I want anyway.
Yeah, totally.
How do you have brothers and sisters?
Yeah, I have 2 brothers. I have an older brother and a younger brother.
Okay.
Yeah, my older brother's 2 years older than me.
Yeah.
We always had like a very much sibling relationship.
Mm-hmm.
We like hated each other when we were younger, and then when we got to college, we were like, okay, we can be friends now.
Yeah.
And then my younger brother, he's 6 years younger than me, so I've always had like a mother relationship to him, like teach him the right way to how to be, you know, like he actually had an extra ticket to see Tim Dillon at Stress Factory.
Oh hell yeah.
And fucking Jared Schwartz opened for Tim. I was like, what the Jared, what are you doing here? I messaged Jared. I said you had a great set. Because he did. Whatever. I'm not trying to sound like I'm talking shit, because I'm not. But anyway, so my little brother was like, oh, I have an extra ticket. Like, will you come? And I'm like, yeah. And like, it's him and his 2 friends. And like, I'm not that much older. I'm only like 6 years older than these kids. But I still was like, I'm putting my card down. I'm getting everybody's food and they're drinking. Like, I look at them as like babies, you know?
Yeah. I can see that.
You know? So that's very much the relationship that I have with him. But yeah. It's just talking about like with your parents, like that is a lot of change to experience at 13-ish.
Yeah.
You know, because you're going into high school and like all of a sudden you have a gay dad and it's the early 2000s and it's like confusing.
People had only just started watching Will and Grace.
No, literally. Yeah. Like, you know, people were.
Yeah, there were TV shows that were just coming out that were like, this is what gay culture is.
Yeah.
And I'd watch
Queer
them.
as Folk.
Well, I didn't watch that, but Queer Eye.
That was very sexual.
Queer Eye for the Straight Guy, I would watch.
Oh hell yeah, that was the OG Queer Eye for the Straight Guy.
That was so fun too, because they would read, you know, give someone like a makeover.
Yeah.
And then they would watch a video of them and then just roast them the entire time.
Yeah.
Their friends and family.
Yeah.
Make fun of them relentlessly. It was the best.
Yeah, it really was. It was such a good show. The reboot has nothing on the original.
The reboot is fun because it's like it's a very pleasant show because it's scary in the beginning.
Yeah.
And then everything is nice.
Everything's so nice.
There's like 10 minutes where they're like, the house is filthy. What are they going to do? This guy has lupus. And then they like... Then they like everything else that happens after that, they're like, he's better.
Am I watching Queer Eye or am I watching Hoarders? Like, truly. It's like Queer Eye is just my 600-pound life and Hoarders mixed together.
Yeah, Hoarders is just Queer Eye if like they didn't like what was happening.
Yeah.
Because every Hoarders, they're kind of like, well, you need to get rid of this
they're
stuff.
Like, don't touch my stuff.
They're like, not all of it. It'd be like if the whole time they were like, we want you to tuck your shirt in the front of your pants, and they were like, fuck you.
I can't. I'm
French
emotionally invested in not doing the French tuck, literally.
The new Queer Eye I was always confused by because there's the one dude that didn't seem to do anything for me. He was just emotionally available. And I was like, what is that? It's like, what's he doing?
My roommate and I would sit here and watch it and be like, we're not really sure his role, but we like the energy.
It was up until the episode where the guy's in the wheelchair and they introduced him to the guy that shot him.
Yeah.
Where I was like, now he's putting in some work.
Yeah, no, literally. Oh my gosh.
My other thing with that show is I feel like a lot of them don't do anything. Like the guy that does all the furniture and like the remodeling.
Bobby.
That's like 10 people. That's like a team of 20 people that do it.
Yeah.
And then he goes, didn't we do a great job?
Yeah. He always was like, this is a group effort when
Yeah.
he's like doing everything. I don't think he's coming back to new
Okay.
seasons actually, because he's like, I did all this work. And
Yeah.
like Kareem just talks to people about their feelings.
I don't know if I've kept up with it. I don't even know if I'm up to date on it.
I know I'm very much not up to date.
It really came to me though that they weren't doing anything when like there's the one where it's the two black ladies that have like no teeth.
Yes,
and
they had
like,
the chicken shop.
Yeah, and they get them the endorsement to like make their sauces worldwide.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this probably took like months.
Yeah,
to
no,
organize.
truly, this is not
then
something that took 5 days.
The food guy shows up and he goes, I've been talking to them and they're interested. You're like, like this didn't just happen.
No.
You've had a whole team of like project managers working on
Right,
this.
right. This is just some movie magic.
The person that cuts the hair actually cuts the hair.
Jonathan's
the best one because they cut the hair, and then when they don't cut the hair, they say, I'm not cutting the hair. This person's cutting the hair.
Yeah,
They're
totally.
The only honest one.
Yeah, truly.
They'll be like, I've never cut, like, because sometimes when it'll be like black people, he'll be like, I don't know how to cut the hair like this.
Totally.
So here's a person that does. I'm just going to like, I don't know what else to
And like they're
do the
always very
beard.
cute about it. Like
Yeah.
it's like, I'm not gonna do this, but with personality.
Yeah. But again, the old Queer Eye was like, they would do stuff but then make fun of you and they'd like, put this on, and then when you wouldn't do things, they'd be like, this fucking jerk off doesn't know how to cook the food at all.
You'll never learn. You'll always be a piece of shit. Oh, the best. That was such a good show.
Yeah.
Damn. Well, how's mom now? Is she dating, or what's her deal? Does she have a new partner?
I don't know. She doesn't date that much. She'll like, she was making me laugh the one day because she was like dating someone. My mom doesn't ever want to say when she's dating people.
Yeah.
I'm very much like my mom because I'm also like, if my mom asks me who I'm dating, I'm like, I'm not dating anybody. I'm not.
Yeah. Very demure.
Let's not talk about this. Whereas like, and she's like the same way. Where the one time she was like saying like, she's like, when I dated someone, I'm like, was he cute? And she goes, no, he's 72. Who's cute? That's like her attitude towards stuff.
Oh God, man, dating at that age is rough.
Yeah.
Yes. You don't even understand an app.
Yeah.
You think meeting people on an app is like, I'm trying to get murdered.
Well, she does online dating, so she'll like talk to someone for a while. I don't know what she does exactly.
Yeah. Do you ever worry about her getting like 90 Day Fiancé'd?
What do you mean?
Like she's like, oh, I'm talking to Jafar from Nigeria,
where someone's gonna like,
and like he's saying that I'm like his African princess, and I'm sending all of your inheritance to him.
Sometimes I think that when it comes to like, I think she's just savvy enough that she's not gonna like, send money out to people.
Yeah.
But like, I think she also watches Catfish a lot.
Okay,
which I think she's like a little bit like, she really is confused by the computer and the phone. But she goes in the dating apps and she like she knows I think enough to like try to avoid getting scammed, but she's like kind of I think somewhat susceptible to it. Like I was staying at her house one time and she woke me up at 5 a.m. and she's like, Mark, I think Josh is on the phone. And I'm like, Josh? And she's like, yeah, he said not to talk to you, but he said he got into a car accident. He wants to send you money. And I'm like, Josh is my cousin.
Yeah.
He lives in Kentucky. And I'm like, why would he do any of this? She goes, I'm just going to hang up.
Yeah.
And she hangs up. And apparently what happened was some guy called her at 5 a.m. and said, hello, Grandma. And then she goes, and he had like southern accent. And she goes, Josh. And the guy goes, I am Josh.
Yeah.
I had a car accident. But my mom's not really close with Josh like that.
Right.
So it'd be bizarre for that to happen. And I'm like, why would he call you Grandma? You're his aunt. And he's like, well, she knows I have kids. Like she reconciled it all in her head, but like I don't think she's like totally susceptible to it.
Okay, so that's different than like these people. If you're anybody who's ever watched the show 90 Day Fiancé, it's like these women, and it's also men who like. A more common example is like for men, like, oh, this is Svetlana from the Ukraine, and she's this beautiful model, and it's like probably an old guy in front of like behind the computer that just like catfishing this guy. So that's what I was talking about. With that, that's actually what you just described.
Yeah.
That's like a pretty easy way to get scammed. Like I have like a lot more grace for people that like send money out to save Josh, because that guy 9 times out of 10 gets shut down. Whereas like, I'm just gonna hang up on this guy. But when it hits, he's gotten a grandma. Like Joe's grandparents have been like scammed that way. Like, Joey, they said you were in a car accident. I'm sending $1,200, and he's like, no, don't do that.
I was watching some video the other day where this MAGA grandma She thought she was dating Q from Impractical Jokers.
Hell yeah. I feel like
And he
I
was
saw
like-
that.
Yeah, he was like sending her money and then getting money back and stuff. It was like a whole thing. And they're like, why do you think that he wants to date a 62-year-old woman? He goes, they said that he liked older women. And they're like, well, but he has like grammar mistakes in every single sentence. She goes, well, he's from New York.
Also, I'm such a catch.
Yeah.
Like,
So it's just
I feel
wild.
bad for these people. I really do. Like, I have
Yeah.
my friends are obsessed with watching 90 Day Fiance, and like I do find the appeal, but it like really like depresses me. Where I'm like, oh, this old woman's getting scammed because she thinks this like bodybuilder from Turkey is like super into her.
Yeah.
And
I
it's
don't know
like,
much about.
no.
I watched like a bunch of like weird like competition reality shows. So I know Anfisa from that show.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
House of
Yeah,
Villains.
she's on House of Villains. Yeah.
Wait, have you been watching?
Yeah, I watched the whole thing.
Okay, I fell off.
Yeah.
Don't tell me, but I'll text you when I
Yeah.
get back into it and watch because
Oh, it's great.
it's so good. I
Yeah.
love the villains that are in the first season.
I'm
so.
a challenge fan, so it's all Johnny Bananas for me.
Yeah,
Just,
Johnny
like,
Bananas.
Just a season of him being cool and stuff.
Yeah. I the challenge is one of those shows where it's like there's so many seasons, and if
Yeah.
I can't watch every season of the franchise, then I'm not interested.
The first 10 seasons are like unwatchable though. Like you have to like they're like heavily dependent on having seen the real world, and then after
Absolutely,
that, like,
yeah.
like, it's
Which
an
I love
adjustment.
the real world.
Yeah, it's an adjustment, but once you get in, like the challenge is like the best reality show. I
Yeah,
think.
but it's so funny because like even if I've never watched like a lot of the challenge, like
Yeah.
I've watched the previews for the challenge, just having MTV on in my house.
Yeah. So you have some understanding.
Absolutely, and I'm like that fucking guy. Like CJ, like you're still doing the
CT?
fucking CT,
Yeah.
CT, you're still doing the challenge.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I think about it like comic books, where like in comic books they'll have their own comic, and then they'll be
Yeah,
in the
yeah, there's-
Avengers,
yeah,
and
yeah,
then they'll do something else. To me, I think about it that way, where like there was like a season where Johnny Bananas was drunk, or like CT was like drunk in college
Yeah,
on the real world, and then he was on the challenge and he was evil,
yeah,
and then he was good, and then he was a fat dad, and then now he's like not fat anymore.
yeah.
Like he had like a whole. Like every season he comes in as like a slightly different version.
You know what era I did watch was when he and Diem
Oh,
were
yeah,
together.
that was good. Yeah,
Love
he's
her.
evil in some of that, and he's good in some
Yeah,
of those.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
him-
he's evil in a way that women want to watch.
Oh yeah, he was. There's one. His most evil, I think it's like Gauntlet 3, where he's like has like really long hair and is like jacked out of his like really
Yeah.
muscular. That's his most evil version.
That's the CT I know and love.
yeah, where he's like got long hair and he's so good looking you hate him a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
But Fat Dad CT, maybe not as attractive, but
Yeah.
that's good CT too.
Damn.
But-
I
yeah.
love that you're a reality TV boy.
That's
Competition though.
Yeah, competition. I'm not the. I'll do the real worlds. Like I'll go back and watch them as if I'm like this is the lead up to the show. I
Yeah,
like.
yeah, totally. Well, Real World's also a fun one to watch because it is a time capsule of the time,
Yes. Yeah.
which is really fun to watch.
Yeah.
You're like, oh my God, sidekicks, you know?
But yeah, my mom, I don't think is that susceptible to things because like for a while I got worried my mom was gonna get into QAnon.
Oh
'Cause
yeah,
One of her neighbors had a QAnon flag.
yeah,
It was like an American flag with like a burning Q on it, which like it
Nice.
looks sick.
yeah,
It
totally.
looks so cool.
I like totally get why cops
Yeah.
took over the Punisher logo. I'm like, that looks badass, bro.
So I made her watch like a Vox documentary on it, and then like some guy was like saying all the QAnon theories where he was like, I think Michelle Obama's a man, and my mom just goes, I want to punch him.
Okay, good. So you
And she-
steered her right, yeah.
Like but I just don't think she's oriented that way, where someone would be trying to like tell her these things, and she's like, I'm not gonna believe any of this because it
Yeah.
sounds stupid.
yeah.
And I was trying to explain to her, because like QAnon, there's like a puzzle that you'd have to solve.
Yeah.
And my mom was doing a puzzle at the time, and I was like, it would be sort of like if when you finished your puzzle, it told you who all the international pedophiles were, and then she goes, it better not. I don't want my puzzle to do that.
Oh, she's funny.
Yeah.
I like mom. That's awesome. Are her and your dad like cool? Like,
Yeah,
do they
yeah, they're
go to
still
dinner
friends.
and stuff?
No, they go to dinner, but they.
Okay.
If my mom needs like help with something, he helps out and stuff.
Nice.
So like, yeah, they're very.
What
very
do
similar.
holidays look like?
I mostly go to whatever my mom's doing because
Okay.
she's not married.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like my dad can still kind of go to like Williams family stuff.
Yeah, totally.
So we like go to like my sister's house for Thanksgiving, and then we do like Christmas at my mom's house in the morning.
Nice. Okay.
it's not
So
bad.
the family's intact.
Yeah, are your parents together?
Yeah, my parents are together. My parents are still married, and it was one of those things where it's like when you're a kid, you're like, just break up already, you know? And then all of a sudden the kids are out of the house, and they're like, oh, our marriage is fine. It's like, oh, the kids caused a lot of...
We were annoying.
Yeah. And we were like a big financial strain on you guys. Whereas like now you have all the income to like, you know, fucking buy a camper and do whatever the fuck you want, you know? So holidays are easy because it's all together. Joe's family is divorced, but it's very funny. They all come to New York they're like in different parts of the U.S. and they all come to New York for the holidays. And it's like,
really?
Yeah, because Joe's sister also moved here, even though Joe's not from here.
Yeah.
And so we'll go to his sister's, and like his mom and dad, who are been divorced for 20 years, were wearing like outfits that like complemented each other. It's like, did you plan this? And they're like, no, we didn't. And meanwhile, Joe's stepdad is just standing there like shoegazing like the wall. Like, I can't explain it. So they have even though, you know, there's divorce in the family in that way, everybody gets along well, you know.
That's awesome.
Whatever. Yeah, so it's good. But I like to ask about family stuff because I do think that it plays a part in like the emotional eating aspect of,
for sure.
You know, like I remember like parents fighting and me just like having like a bowl of macaroni salad, just like trying to make all the pain go away, you know, in that way. I don't know if that's what was happening for you, but
I go to my dad's house like after he moved out, and he would like we go to the grocery store, and he'd get me like a snack or whatever.
Yeah.
And I would just get like a bunch of Mountain Dew Code Reds, like giant ones. Like that was like, this is great. Like I'd see my dad drink a gigantic Mountain Dew. It was fucking good.
Mountain Dew Code Red, man. That stuff will like take the paint off your car. But it's so good.
My dad still kind of like shows off a little bit with food like now. Where like the guy he married, they didn't get married till I was like 21, but he married like a rich gay dude.
Nice. And that's what my brother did, and he's living the life.
So like they'll have like dinner parties and stuff that are like very fancy. And I think it's weird because I didn't grow up fancy, but like all of a sudden my dad became fancy.
Yeah, isn't that funny? Yeah.
Yeah, and then but like I went there the other day and they made surf and turf. Like they made like lobster tail and like steak, and I was like, this is incredible.
I love my two gay dads. That's amazing. Yeah. It's very funny seeing your parents like live a more lavish life than like what you grew up with them.
Yeah.
Like I said, like the kids moved out and now my parents have disposable income, and my mom also got like better jobs as we were way older. And so like now like we'll go out to dinner and I'll get like nervous when the bill comes and my mom doesn't even think about it, and she like forgets how like stressful money was when we were growing up. And it's like, oh, I'm glad to see you're just enjoying yourself now, which I am very glad. The older you get, that you deserve that, you know. It's very funny. Oh, man. Well, I've taken up a lot of your time. Thank you so much for coming on.
Fun.
I'm so glad you had fun.
Great. You invited me over to just talk about myself. It was great.
Yeah. Don't you love it? And I don't know. I like listening to podcasts where people talk about themselves and whatever. So where can people find you?
Oh, I'm at Mark Henely, Henely, on Instagram and TikTok are the two things I post on. I'm also on Comedy Fight Club every week, Comedy Fight NYC. I open the shows and I yell at everyone about how fun it's going to be when everyone insults each other during the roast battles. And those are basically, the two places to find me. On Instagram, I do a show called Lying to Friends, where each week I have a friend and I tell them a lie, and they try to see if it's true or false.
Are you good at lying?
I don't tend to do it in real life.
Okay.
Some of it's like I like all those reality shows like The Challenge and Survivor, so I'm kind of like, oh, in a game it's fun. But in life, I don't feel the need to.
Totally. You don't have a lying vibe.
I'm a single guy. I don't. What do I have to lie about? It doesn't matter.
Totally. All right. Well, thank you, Mark, so much for coming on. And guys, we'll talk to you next Friday. Bye.